Hello, my name is Marissa Castillo. I'm one of the co-founders of Theatrics and the marketing and communications director. And I'm excited for you guys to join us. You just saw episode one, All the World's a Stage. And if you didn't see it, you can stop now, go to our Facebook, and find episode one in the Balcony Scene in Quarantine group page. That's where we'll be posting all episodes first, along with YouTube and on Instagram. And so go there, watch it, and then maybe come back and join us for this conversation. Today, we're going to be talking to our friend. First, I'm going to introduce you to Anais. I say we. This is the we. Anais is one of the newest members of our team with Theatrics. We're excited to have her. She's here to facilitate a discussion. Today, you got to see episode one where we talked about the story of Theatrics during this pandemic and how it's been affecting us and just theater arts in general. Have been affected a lot. And so we want to now give this opportunity to talk to another theater and hear about their experience. So I'm going to introduce you to Rachel Dickson from the Ensemble Theatre.
Hello. Hi, Anna.
Hello.
Hello, Marissa.
For being here. We are just thrilled to have you and that we have this opportunity to speak to you about the Ensemble Theatre. And so you saw our episode about how Theatrics has been connected, and so we want to hear what's going on with the ensemble.
Well, I think it's very similar to what's happening with Theatrics, right? We're all on hold right now as the world figures out how to respond, and theater seems to be lower on the list of priority in terms of how we get back to work.
Yeah.
So we are on hold. We're on hold for live content, but we're not on hold for creating experiences for our patrons and for our artists, right? We have plenty of virtual content out there. Yeah, so we're responding by just continuing to think about what can we offer at this time that will be fulfilling for all of our stakeholders. Mm-hmm. And I think we're doing a good job with that, keeping it moving. Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit about your role at the ensemble.
I can. So I am what's called the bold artistic associate. And I have to put bold on there because I am one of 5 right now artistic associates across the country. There were 5 theaters who were given what's called Bold Women's Leadership Circle grant from the Pussycat Foundation.
Nice.
So 5 artistic directors, female artistic directors, were selected across the country to receive this particular grant. And the purpose was to foster female leadership in the arts. The focus really is helping the art world to have more women in leadership. So these 5 theaters, the Ensemble Theatre, Alliance Theatre in Atlanta, Northern Stage in Vermont, WP in New York, and The Jungle in Minneapolis. We all received the grant, hired artistic associates. Many of the theaters also have a bold artistic assistant and a bold fellow who do different jobs, but we're all female, and we're here to learn the job so that we can then lead our own organization. So yeah, it's been an amazing journey. It's a 3-year grant. We're in the end of year 2. We're starting year 3. So it's been really, really amazing to be in the room with women who are leading, artistic directors and junior staff, as we call ourselves, who are leading. And so at the theater, I have been fortunate to in my learning capacity, I mean, I get to touch on almost everything, but in my leadership capacity, I have been fortunate with the artistic team and our artistic director, Miss Eileen Morris, to manage or produce our Celebrating the Creative Journey series, which is our series that brings additional art to the world. So it's not our main stage. It's not our touring and education, but it brings additional art that we know our community would like to see, and it gives our artists an opportunity to work. So part of that might be films or staged readings or poetry events or late night events or our artist projects. So that's where artists can submit a proposal, and then by an outside group of evaluators, projects are selected, and then the theater supports them and helps them happen. So it's focused on the artist and what they're trying to accomplish. So been fortunate to produce those. And then everything that I'm called upon to do, I do as an
I know
artistic
you're capable of it. I've seen you do great things on stage and with the Ensemble Theatre. I mean, your name's everywhere, and I know you're doing a lot of really, really great work, and that sounds like a really fantastic opportunity for you. If you have any
that it is.
questions at this time, you can comments that'll pop up, and you can ask a question from Rachel here, or me, or Anais. Anais, do you have anything?
Yes. So how did the pandemic impact the Ensemble Theatre right now, or personally to you? You can answer both or whichever you feel comfortable answering.
Sure. Well, personally, it took me about a month to realize that I was like an insect who touched one of those zappers, and I was kind of just going forth. I didn't realize how much it affected me, but I knew I wasn't writing. I knew I had no desire to read any scripts, any of that. And one day, I kind of, after about a week of really just being upset about everything, it kind of just lifted. And I went, oh, you were dealing with this and hadn't even realized it. So then it took me another few weeks to kind of shake it off and go, okay, now I'm ready to really create again. But all the while I'm working, right, as you all know, to switch from face-to-face to virtual, it's a lot more intensive, right? Because the learning curve alone of learning the technology, do it, and then, of course, like everyone, model planning, right? We've got this model if this happens, and then another model if this, or, plans. We've had many, 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 many plans over the course of these 4 months or 3 months. But so personally, it took me some time, and then being home as Marissa with kiddos, and I have 3 kiddos home and a 9-year-old who I bow down to all teachers. Thank you for all that you do, teachers. You are amazing and wonderful. Okay.
We appreciate that. And I know teacher.
Oh, well, thank you, Anais. I appreciate it. I know all the teachers are like, now the parents understand. Well, I understood before because I know my 9-year-old, but he's amazing. But that was very to adjust to all of that. And then being home all the time, right? When you're working away, you have away time, and then you get that commute to transition. And then now being home all the time, it's like no boundaries. And it took some time to figure that all out. So now we're all settled in, and we're very fortunate, we meaning my household, that my husband, who is also an artist, but he also works in IT, we're both still employed. So we are so, so grateful. We do know that, and we, empathize with all of our artist peers who are not. And that makes us sad, but we, continue what we're asked of. And I think at the theater, how did we respond, how we're doing? We fortunately have been able to keep just about everyone working who's on our staff, which has been beautiful. We strive to create opportunities for our artists. We have a young performer summer program that is not face-to-face this summer. And so finding ways to give those artists work who would have been in shows with us that were canceled, how can we create work for them? So we have had 3 readings so far that were full virtual readings. You can go to our website and find out more information about that. We have one more coming up on the 29th, and they've all been very different. So we've hit older men and a group of women and a group of children and a group that is an intergenerational group, trying to spread the wealth around. And then our young performance program, we have about 15 different sections of classes that are available for young people to take. So that's exciting. We're streaming a play that we did last season, so that is available. Just making sure that we still have plenty of content available, and then giving people work, right? Trying to find ways to put people to work.
Yeah,
that's how we responded. I mean, we're slowly phasing into going back into the building. So when that comes upon us full bloom, we will go in very staggered in the course of a day. Right now, there are a couple of people in, and then we'll add a couple more, and then even then our schedule will be staggered. We've talked about the face shields or the desk protectors, what that's going to look like, making sure that we're following all social distancing. That's for our programming and for our office work. Sanitizers and all of that. And we're hoping to be able to have some kind of small something in this calendar year, but like everybody, we're waiting to hear. And then we're hoping to have a season, if you will. Now, of course, it'll be modified in the spring. where social distancing will be in effect. The cast will be smaller. You know, we might have a 15-person musical. Well, those won't happen, right? Not for at least the next season. At small cast shows where we have 2, 3, 4, 5 people in them at max, considering what the shows are and how much intimacy is required. I mean, those are all variables. Having some programming, instead of thinking of it as main stage, right? We're thinking of it as special programming that responds to our needs, but with the hope of having offerings come January. So that's where we are. It's been a journey. Lots of models, and like I said, lots of plans along the way. Yeah, being able to see how even offer content if folks can't come or don't want to come, what happens then, and how can we be sensitive to what the needs are, right? We know that too. Another thing is, not along with COVID, we've got the move in the world right now to respond to the race issue, right? To equity, diversity, and inclusion has become part of our conversation in a greater way. So we are also planning to have that inform our content once we return. So we'll see, where that lands. And without even knowing it, we did a reading of Greenwood, An American Dream Destroyed by Celeste Bedford Walker. We selected that before any of the rioting began. Now that piece is about the riots 1921, Tulsa, Oklahoma. We selected that before what was happening. And then the reading for that was about 4 days after the George Floyd event and all of the protesting began. And so that was like art imitating life.
It's been happening. I mean, it's here and it's been here. It's not something that's new. And I think you guys are definitely aware of that, and you're showing stuff that shows that you're aware that, there's an ugly underside to the freedom that we have.
Yeah. All of our work speaks to it in some way or another, because it is about the human experience, right? And the African American experience is certainly a part of all of it, but the human experience and what's happening in our country. So, we'd like to think our work speaks to what our community needs, right? Continue with that.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Rachel. I thank you for letting us hear about the Ensemble Theatre and all the great work you guys are doing. So go to go to ensemblehouston.com. They've got a lot of good content on there right now that you can see. Theater's still happening. So go out, see it, lift some of that heaviness that's on our hearts and our heads right now. Thank you again, Rachel, for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Annalise. Take care.
All right. Thanks again for joining us. Just note, tomorrow we have episode 2, a play on Both Your Houses. We'll have another after show, and during that after show, we'll be talking to actor 1, Sebastian Cruz. This episode is all about the experience that the actors are having right now, losing jobs and income, both professionally and with the theater, as well as other jobs that we do, because, artists often do more than one job. So once again, thanks for joining us. We will see you tomorrow. Bye.